right, man. What you got going on this weekend?
Oh, watching a little bit of the Olympics.
Yeah,
Seen any skating?
skateboarding. Yeah, it's actually really cool. It's cool to watch that.
Definitely
nowadays.
cool. Congratulations to Japan for getting gold. We still medaled. We got bronze.
Yeah, I need to catch up. I haven't watched like all of it.
Oh man, it's so entertaining.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like if we went any farther with sports, that drumming could be an Olympic sport.
Possibly. It's
be.
about time with skateboarding. That's such a huge industry. It's massive.
It's been around since the early or mid 70s in America, and then it got really, really popular, and then I mean, even in what the commentators were saying was in Japan, it's still not even that big of a sport.
Weird.
And so to have it in the first ever, Olympic run of skateboarding in Japan, and for Japan to get gold.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this is going to be huge for Japan.
Sure,
and,
sure.
Sales are going to go through the roof for every skateboarding company now. And
Well, there's some really obscure sports in the Olympics, like even like bobsledding. That's a really odd sport.
well, now you're talking Winter Olympics.
Yeah, you're right. That's a winter sport. It's a little
So-
different. But I just mean there's some strange sports that are like, what is this? Like, what group of people has been doing this
Yeah.
so long that they get to compete on like a world stage? Skateboarding to me is like obvious. It's so massive, you know?
Yeah.
Well, at least in our country, it's huge.
Well, incredibly physical. The fact that they can just like bail and get injured all the
Yeah.
time during the sport. Also, they're just like chilling with AirPods in.
Yeah.
Like, while they're skating, their phones in their pockets.
Yeah, they
I'm
do
like,
phone in
that's
the
like the
pocket.
only sport where that's
Yeah.
acceptable.
Well, it's weird. It gets into that territory. It's kind of a drum thing, really. But like, it is competitive. It can be competitive, skateboarding. But also, there's an artistic, like interpretive sort of element of like who did a trick cleaner. Like that's really subjective. It's a lot like a drumming competition. Like two people play drum solos. Like who did better is kind of a weird question to ask. So I feel like that's that weird threshold of like, is this a sport or is it an art? And how do you judge it necessarily? Like, right, it makes it difficult, you know?
I think you could. I mean, it's just about quantifying the actions
Sure.
of every competitor.
Yeah.
So it's how does this person execute a double stroke well, and
Yeah.
how can they play this fill and incorporate it into this structured format.
I think the key is definitely having judges who have like seasoned taste, like judges with like a good set of eyes. Because
Yeah.
like you and I could watch a skateboarding. Well, I don't know. We know a little bit about skateboarding, but like to watch two people do the same thing and then to be able to say precisely why one was better, right? Like you need a good set of eyes for that. Just like in music, right? Two people play like a paradiddle fill. Like you have to have listened to a lot of paradiddle fills to say like that one was cleaner and here's why. Because a lot of people might not be able to know.
Well, you've judged one or two drum offs,
The drum
right?
offs, yeah.
I mean, how was that? Would you you had to quantify certain things?
Yeah,
right?
it's tough, man. It's really hard. Yeah, it's really tricky. There's, you try to judge people based off of like where they are. So you can definitely tell if somebody has been playing drums for a shorter amount of time, but they worked super hard on what they played. And so you try to give them a little bit of credit for that, because you could also have someone who was very advanced but just came in and like winged it. And it's objectively a little bit better because they've been playing drums longer, but it almost seems like they didn't really rehearse or practice too much, and you see some flubs in there, versus the younger drummer who had a really tight performance within the context of like how long they've been playing and stuff. So like you try to balance that stuff out a little bit, but it's hard. It's like art versus art. Like there were definitely some examples of like two guys played awesome solos, and really it's like, who did you like better? It's kind of like that's all you can really do, you know? Because if you scored them the same in technical ability, in cleanliness, in like, I don't forget what the categories were. I have a video on it actually if anyone's ever interested in the parameters of how a drum contest is judged. When I judged the Guitar Center drum off locally a few times, there's definitely there's really specific categories that you're supposed to look for, but it's interesting to talk that out because they're all debatable of like what you should count and what you shouldn't, and how many points this is worth and what this is worth, and like judging people on originality is tough because like what are you gonna play that's truly original? Like I know you're using all rudiments, you didn't come up with those. Like if you play a basic rock beat, like, well, that's extremely unoriginal, right? Like fundamentally it is. So like it's a weird one, man. It's definitely like arts and competition have a weird marriage. They're strange.
Yeah, I mean, we could go back to the Olympics, like gymnastics. I don't know if you've been watching that.
I've seen it clips, just highlights.
I mean, it's just been around for so many years, and I still watch it going, how in the hell do you like watch a performance and just go, 7.8? Like,
yeah,
I don't get it.
They're particularly nerdy. Where like the stuff that they like, oh, I don't know about that. I think it was a little, it's I don't know. They seem like pretentiously nitpicky, but we sound that way with drums, right? Probably.
We do. It'd be very, very interesting. But also, it's so, physical, and there's no noise with sports, so they're able to just kind of sit and converse and just talk about like
they get way up on the mic and whisper like that.
It's so funny. It's like golf and all
golf's
other
just
things.
like that.
It's funny.
Yeah.
You can also just kind of like catch a glimpse of all the different nuances they say to just like fill time.
Yes, a lot of time killing.
You see the form. Like, they just slow down. It's super funny. Anyway, a lot of that. Enough of the Olympics. I'm obsessed with it every 4 years. So.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Orlando Drummer podcast. If you're looking for more content like this, whether it be in-depth masterclasses, interviews with pro drummers, extensive lesson packs, and other courses, you can find all of that at the link in the description. Just click on orlandodrummer.com and start a free 7-day trial to my online drum school. I promise you will find something you like. And if you don't want to stick around, no harm done. Check it out. Link in description.